Hello, welcome back. Yesterday I made a video about the entire list of changes that was announced on the Pokemon Go GBL Season 12 Season of Light update. Not all of the moves actually had numbers tied to them, so we didn't actually know how much, for example, Zap Cannon what percentage that the attack would be lowered at. However, thanks to Pokeminers, we have the data mine. Some of these are subject to change, but most of these should be set in stone. There have been a couple of extra changes. For example, they made a couple adjustments, including to adding double kick to the Swords of Justice, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion. They will make an appearance in Ultra League because of this addition. Terrakion will also be the strongest fighting type raid attacker if it truly keeps these moves. And Tentacruel originally had Surf in the page, so if I can find it right here, it originally learned Surf, but they switched it to Scald. So I do believe all of these changes are set in stone because they have updated the website to show that. So if you are more interested in listening to specific matchups, breakdowns of why I think certain moves are good or bad, you can watch yesterday's video. It is 45 minutes long, so it will take a long time to go through, but this video is meant to go through the finalized version of every Pokemon that is relevant to the changes. So direct nerfs to the Pokemon in the current GBL meta would be Registeel and Walrein. Zap Cannon got reduced from a 100% chance of reducing opponent's attack down to 66% chance. This means that if it does not get that debuff, it cannot win Sableye, cannot win Deoxys. That's a good change. It won't beat things in the Zero Shield that it's not supposed to, based off of type effectiveness. Walrein got Icicle Spear nerf as well, from 35 energy to 40 energy. It's not actually that big of a deal because you need 5 to your first Icicle Spear, and you will always need 5 rather than switching between 5 and 4. So it won't stop Walrein's first pace or first charge move from making an impact. However, it does stop it from baiting and nuking much more efficiently like it used to against things like Stunfisk. And then these changes will actually make Flash Cannon potentially viable again, but apart from that, it shouldn't actually change too much of the meta. Speaking of the meta, Nidoqueen, Trevenant, those stuff are untouched. However, there may be more Psychic type attacks, normal type Pokemon, so those are the changes that might come into play. So other nerfs to moves include Rollout, which is a move that was introduced as a result of Alolan Golem Community Day. It was an extremely high generation move. It was 4.66 energy per turn, which is between Mudshot and Lock-On. It is the second highest energy generating fast move. Now it's been reduced to 4.33, which is the same as Snarl and Bullet Seed. It is a slightly weaker Snarl and Bullet Seed because it still does less damage than those moves. It is good because it's being added to 2 Pokemon, including Dunsparce and Miltank. Dunsparce has extremely good charge move, and Miltank has Body Slam, so they become extremely spammy. They're going to be some of the most popular Pokemon, taking over Lickitung because Lickitung has the XL requirement, and these 2 options are your budget options without, spending that much more resources because they are almost just as bulky as well. Ominous Wind is actually receiving a 1-stage defense and attack reduction on the boost. It went from 2 to 1. However, this doesn't mean very much because Giratina and Spiritomb will still be needing to use this move as its bait move. And then on the other hand, we have buffs, things that got stronger. Quick Attack went from 3.5 energy per turn to 4 energy per turn. This would be identical to Vine Whip and Powder Snow. Pokemon that will be affected is Sylveon. Sylveon and Great in the Ultra League will be able to use, an energy-based fast move to get off Moonblast rather than relying entirely on Charm, so it does have a little bit of flexibility. However, Sylveon's entire moveset is still resisted by things like Steel. Victini can have a more spammy option to get off its V-Create, which is quite interesting, but I don't think Victini's still strong enough as a Psychic and Fire type combination to be relevant in the meta. Vulpix in the Little Cup, we all know how annoying those Body Slams and Weather Balls are in the Little Cup. However, they've made it even stronger and even spammier. Taco went from 2 energy per turn to 3 energy per turn. It's the same as Water Gun, Lick, and Air Slash in terms of damage and energy. It is a very average move. However, it is on cast form, and cast form, all forms get to have a little bit of flexibility because fire type cast form only learned fire type moves. Same with ice, only learning ice. So it does give it a bit of a flexibility. Galarian Wheezing has always been struggling because its fast move set was completely miserable. Now it gives it some play, and having an average moveset at least allows Galarian Weezing to make use of its really interesting and really powerful dual typing of Fairy and Poison. Bronzor in the Little Cup, just like Vulpix, we had annoying enough bulky, spammy Little Cup Pokemon. They've just made it stronger, so watch out for those. Ancient Power and Silverwind not only got that 2-to-1 stage debuff just like Omnis Wind, it also went from 45 damage to 60 damage. This is actually important, not so much for other Pokemon, because things like Togekiss and Giratina still need to use it because it's their, it's an alternative move and sometimes provides coverage and stuff like that. But more importantly, Galarian, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno are picking up the buff and will add consistency because it's not entirely just a bait move now. You can use Ancient Power with the powerful fast moves that Galarian Zapdos has, Counter, Wing Attack on Moltres, and Ice Shard on Articuno. Venomoth gets the exact same buff with Silverwind. New moves added to PvP Season 12, we have Double Kick, which is 2.66 damage per turn and 4 energy per turn. That equals 6.66 altogether, which is higher than the average 6. So it is essentially a 3-turn Vine Whip and Powder Snow. It is slightly more damage, but that's because of how the math works out. And Double Kick will directly compete with Counter because it is an energy-based fast move rather than a damage-based fast move. However, we do not have Double Kick added to any counter users, so we won't actually see any Pokemon, switching between the two moves. Girafarig we'll talk about later. Dubwall is a Pokemon learning the move. It will become spammy. It actually has pretty decent nukes, beside the Body Slam it can spam, but it will still be worse than Miltank in a lot of cases. Nidoking and Incineroar already has energy-based fast moves, so it doesn't change much for the Pokemon. Hitmonlee and Lopunny are bad alternatives to Machamp and Diggersby, so don't expect too much of that either. Fairy Wind has 1.5 damage per energy, 1.5 damage per turn, and 4.5 energy per turn. So this is the same as Mudshot, Psycho Cut, and Thundershock. These are all extremely high energy generation moves. We know this from, Pikachu or Raichu. We know this from Mudshot, Swampert, and Galarian Stunfisk. So it directly competes with Charm because Fairy Wind is a Fairy type fast move. However, it's like Double Kick, it does not compete with it technically for the time being because it's not placed on any current Charm users that are meta relevant. Florges receives the biggest upgrade because you have Vine Whip as your original option, and it's not so much that you really need the extra energy gain, but rather in the Master League, having a Fairy type fast move deals super effective damage to a lot of dragons. And that not only allows you to generate more energy for your Moonblast, which is really good, you didn't need that grass type fast move, and if you do in the Great and Ultra, you're actually replacing it with the Fairy type fast move so that you can actually get more grass type charge moves off. So Florges now has a very good mix, and you can mix and match between your fast and charge moves for both grass, psychic, and fairy type coverage. Galarian Rapidash and Jumpluff already has energy based fast moves, so that doesn't change very much either. Galarian, Weezing, Mawile, and Slurpuff, although these are direct upgrades to the Pokemon, their charge move sets are pretty bad. So the energy alone isn't actually going to make them meta relevant, but it is good. It's a nice change. Availability updates, I'm going to start with all the useless ones. Nidorino learned Thunderbolt, Nidorino learned Ice Beam, Haunter learned Ice Punch, Marowak learned Rock Slide, Camerupt learned Incinerate, although that may be viable in the Halloween Cup. Golisopod learned Shadow Claw, and Ledian learned Dynamic Punch. These last two, Golisopod and Ledian, unfortunately, the rest of their moveset is bad, so they won't actually be able to make use of these new moves that they just got. Tentacruel is the first Pokemon that actually got something relevant. We have Tentacruel learning Scald. Like I said, it previously had Surf coded in, but now it's changed to Scald. Scald is almost as energy efficient as Surf and Hydro Pump, so it doesn't actually make it that big of a deal not having the 10 energy less Surf, because Tentacruel is still a bulky Pokemon. It can afford to take those extra hits to make it to that 50 energy charge move, especially since it now not only is a cheaper move, it is just as efficient, meaning it's both a bait move. It allows you to go for other nukes, for example, Blizzard and Sludge Wave. You can pair it with Acid Spray to make use of your extremely high damage Poison Jab. So Scald adds flexibility to Tentacruel and consistency. The same applies to Lantern. Surf is a 40 energy charge move, water type charge move, the cheapest and one of the most powerful 40 energy charge moves as well. It still struggles in the meta because things like Trevenant exists, Swampert exists, Nidoqueen exists. You will not be able to beat that if you don't have, you know, extra energy and stuff like that. So expect Lantern to not play a major role in the Open Great League. However, in themed metas, it is a massive threat. Nihilego got Poison Jab, which is kind of weird because they didn't actually release it with, and then they brought it back, but that's besides the point. It's going to be used in the Ultra League. It's a good move, but the bad typing of Nihilego, Poison, and Rock will keep it at bay. It beats Talonflame, Walrein, and Fairy types, but it won't do much more outside of its type effectiveness there. Dragonair learns Body Slam. It is a direct upgrade to Wrap. However, in most cases, you're still wanting Aqua Tail and Dragon Pulse, so use at your own risk. It gets walled by different things based off of whichever combination you use anyways. Dragonite gets the biggest upgrade, learning Superpower. It is a 40 energy nuke, which drops your attack and defense as a result. However, having that fighting type move loses you fairy type coverage in cases you are using Hurricane. However, it gives you normal steel and dark type coverage. Not only that, those are the biggest walls for Dragonite, usually in Great, Ultra, and Master, which is also an important thing. It is relevant everywhere. So, last but not least, we have Runerigus. Learns Shadow Claw. It is now relevant, especially since Astonish was complete garbage, but it's not much better or different than Kofagrigus. Both of these Pokemon are going to struggle to, you know, make it outside of whatever ghost type attacks that it can deal, because it doesn't provide very much type coverage outside of that moveset. And last but not least, we have the entire list of Psychic Fangs Pokemon. Espeon and Swoobat are not getting any better with it. Arcanine and Manectric, they're very high attack Pokemon, and a lot of times you're going to prefer its alternate charge moves rather than whatever new weird Psychic Fangs farm down fast move strategy you're going to get. The thing that makes them unique is the fact that they have such powerful charge moves already. Steelix is going to be similar to Nidoqueen, but it's not going to be as threatening, because Steelix, compared to Nidoqueen, especially Shadow Nidoqueen, Steelix has an attack stat of less than 100. Makes it extremely bulky. Even if you apply the Psychic Fangs, your Dragon Tails won't be able to fast move things down as aggressively. It adds consistency. You may even be able to take away Earthquake from its moveset, going straight for Crunch in a lot of cases as well. It's not overpowered as well because you won't be able to beat other Steels. You are a Ground-type, Steel-type Pokemon, but you still won't be able to beat most things because you're very slow to get through the Earthquake. Girafarig is our last Pokemon that we're going to be talking about. It learns Psychic Fangs, but it also got a Tackle upgrade and Double Kick into its moveset. What does the heavy lifting, however, is the fact that it is a Psychic-type Pokemon that resists Ghost because of its normal type. The moveset also isn't very synergistic. We have now Double Kick or Tackle as a fast move, and then we have Psychic Fangs as the bait move, and then your charge moves are Thunderbolt, which is pretty average. You have Psychic, which is also, you know, redundant. However, this weird combination does have a little bit of merit because it can beat Rich Steel, Walrein, and Trevenant. They are meta relevant enough Pokemon to find some play, and there are ways to play around, bad Pokemon anyway. So I'm not saying Girafarig is bad. I'm saying that it's going to be difficult to gauge how useful that Pokemon is going to be in the long run. All right. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you probably on stream, hopefully. Peace.